You're standing at airport security, watching hundreds of people pass through your lane every hour. Families, business travelers, students, people who trust the system without thinking twice. They place their bags on the belt, step through the scanner, and look to you for a signal. Clear or not, safe or not. You wear the uniform that's supposed to protect them, but that's not what you do anymore. Now, you decide what gets through and what doesn't. This is your story. And it starts with a choice that didn't feel like a crime at the time. 6 months ago, you were just doing your job. Early shifts, long lines, endless repetition, shoes off, laptops out, liquids in a clear bag. You followed the rules because that's what you were trained to do, because somewhere deep down you believed the job mattered. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't even respected most of the time. But it was honest. And for a while, that was enough. Until life made it not enough. Bills started stacking up faster than your paycheck. Rent increased again. Groceries doubled in price. And then your younger brother called. His voice was unsteady, like he was trying to stay calm but failing. He needed surgery. Urgently. Your family didn't have the money. You told them you'd handle it. You always say that. But this time, there was no plan, no savings, no backup, just numbers that didn't work. You picked up extra shifts, stayed longer, worked harder. It didn't change anything. That's the part no one talks about. Hard work doesn't always fix the problem. Sometimes it just exhausts you while the problem gets worse. That's when you noticed him. He didn't look suspicious. That's what made him stand out. Calm. Confident. Like he belonged exactly where he was. He placed his bag on the belt and looked directly at you. Not casually, not nervously, intentionally. You waved him through. Routine. Nothing unusual, except 3 days later, he came back. Same expression, same eye contact. This time, after he cleared the checkpoint, he didn't leave immediately. He stepped slightly closer, close enough that no one else would hear. "You look tired," he said. You didn't respond. Passengers were still moving. The line didn't stop. But your attention shifted. "There's an easier way to do this job," he added. You frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" you asked, keeping your tone neutral. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at the belt, at the bags moving through, at the system you controlled. Then back at you. 10,000, he said. Just like that. No explanation, no context. Just a number. "For what?" you asked. Your voice stayed steady. But your mind didn't, for not seeing something you're already tired of looking at. Then he walked away. No pressure, no threats, just an offer. And somehow, that made it more dangerous. You tried to forget it. You went home, sat in silence, and opened your bank account. The numbers stared back at you. Small. Insufficient. Unforgiving. You thought about your brother. About your family. About how $10,000 would solve everything immediately. You told yourself you wouldn't do it. You told yourself you'd report him if he came back. You told yourself you weren't that kind of person. But when he returned, everything changed. This time he didn't speak. He just placed a bag on the belt and looked at you, waiting. Your training kicked in. You knew what to do. Flag the bag. Call a supervisor. Report the interaction. End it right there. But another voice cut through that training. Quieter. Stronger. The voice that reminded you of unpaid bills. Of your brother's condition. Of the fact that doing the right thing hadn't fixed anything so far. Your hand moved before you fully decided. You let the bag pass. No extra screening, no hesitation. Just a simple motion. Go. It took less than 10 seconds. And just like that, everything changed. Nothing happened. No alarms. No interruptions. The line kept moving. Passengers kept complaining. The world didn't react at all. And that's what made it dangerous. Because it made it feel normal. A few hours later, you found an envelope in your locker. No name, no message, just cash. $10,000. You stared at it for a long time before touching it. Because that money wasn't just money. It was proof. proof that you crossed a line you can't uncross. That night, you paid for your brother's surgery. You cleared overdue bills, you bought groceries without checking prices. Your family thanked you. They called you dependable, responsible. You smiled. You said it was overtime. The lie came easier than you expected, and that scared you more than anything, because it meant this could continue. The next offer came quickly. 15,000, then 20, then more. The man finally introduced himself. Rafi, he said. You knew it wasn't his real name. He didn't care if you knew. He explained everything like it was business. Specific bags, specific flights, specific timing. You weren't just ignoring things anymore. You were part of a system, a network, a pipeline that moved product across the country without resistance. And you were one of the most important parts of it. Because no one questions the person in uniform. You adapted fast, faster than you expected. You learned which supervisors paid attention and which didn't, which cameras mattered and which didn't, which coworkers noticed details, which ones didn't. You adjusted your behavior, perfected it. That's what bothered you the most. Not that you were doing it, but how easy it became. Your coworker Daniel started noticing small things. He'd been there longer than you. The kind of person who still believed in the job. Still believed it mattered. You've been clearing a lot of bags lately, he said one afternoon. Just keeping things moving, you replied. He nodded. But he didn't look convinced. After that, you became more careful, more aware, more paranoid. Every glance felt like suspicion. Every question felt like a test. You started watching everyone the same way they might be watching you. Rafi noticed the shift. You're thinking too much, he said. Just do your job. You didn't respond. Because you weren't sure what your job even was anymore. Things escalated. Bigger shipments. More coordination. More risk. You weren't just a checkpoint officer anymore. You were the gatekeeper. One mistake could destroy everything. Then it happened. A bag came through that felt wrong. Heavier. Unusual. Your instincts kicked in. For a second, the old you came back, the one who followed rules. You hesitated. Behind you, Daniel was close enough to notice. Time slowed. You had a choice, stop it, or continue. You let it pass. Later in the parking lot, I need you to be honest with me, Daniel said. What's wrong? I've been seeing patterns, flights, bags, timing. You stayed quiet. If something's going on, I can help you. Help you. That word didn't belong to your world anymore. I think you're overthinking, you said. He studied you, then nodded. Maybe. But you knew he wasn't convinced. And that's when it hit you. This doesn't last forever. Something always breaks. And when it does, there's no going back. Because the moment you chose to look the other way, you didn't just change your job. You changed who you are. And now the system you thought you controlled was closing in on you. You saw it in small things. More questions, less random checks, new faces watching too closely. You weren't the observer anymore. You were the one being watched. Even Rafi changed. Shorter calls. More urgency. Things are tightening, he said. Stay sharp. A week later, it got worse. A bag came through. One you didn't expect. No signal, no warning. You froze. This wasn't routine. This was a test. Daniel was nearby, watching. Rafi was nowhere to be seen. From both sides, you were exposed. Stop the bag and risk Rafi. Let it pass and confirm Daniel's suspicion. Your chest tightened. This wasn't about money anymore. This was survival. And survival doesn't wait. You let it pass. Simple, quick, final. And in that moment, you understood the truth. There's no version of this story where you walk away clean. Because the first time you looked the other way, you didn't just make a mistake. You started something you were never going to stop.